Dr. Death was a kind of bogeyman character emerging from the post-World War II propaganda, where in the concentration camps there were supposedly German doctors who were dispatching victims, killing them off because they were physically infirm, mentally incapable, what Nietzsche might have called the superfluous ones. This very immoral practice, according to the liberal Christian West, was deplorable. Though of course we know that it goes on even today in the West in certain hospitals. But getting back to our historical narrative, this depravity, as the West would have it, of taking life was put down, no pun intended, to Nietzsche's teachings. Did Nietzsche not say in Zarathustra, in the chapter called On Voluntary Death, that the superfluous ones should be dispatched? But note, it is called voluntary death in Zarathustra, not involuntary death. In Zarathustra, it is about choosing your death, dying at the right time. That could be speedy death, as he called it, rather than the slow, drawn-out death of Christian civilization. Speedy death. But it needn't be all too speedy. As Nietzsche says, Jesus himself should have lived longer. But Jesus wanted to die, and he chose his death all too soon. He was immature. One must choose one's death when one is at the point of reaching a goal and having one's heirs ready to receive what he called the golden ball. The noble ball, which was his Superman. Once the Superman are ready to go, then mankind can have voluntary death, because the Superman is ready to retrieve the golden ball thrown by man onto Superman. Mankind can then dispatch themselves en masse. The Superman is ready to go. In Ludovici's very useful commentary on Zarathustra, in the first Oscar Levy edition, the best edition of the English collected works of Nietzsche, Ludovici very helpfully mentions Twilight of the Idols, the chapter there, the Skirmishes of the Modern Age, section 36, which is essentially an elucidation on Zarathustra's voluntary death chapter. And this is where Dr. Death comes from. This is where Nietzsche actually does put forward the Dr. Death scenario. And if, as I say, the Third Reich was a Nietzschean movement, then it seems that this is where the Third Reich took its Dr. Death scenario from, because there Nietzsche explicitly says in Twilight of the Idols that doctors should remove the right of life, not only the right of life, but the right to procreate and even the right to be born, from patients who are degenerate, decadent, negative, pessimistic, whatever, whether it's mental or physical, patients who are not life-affirming, ascending beings, The superfluous ones, they should all be dispatched by doctors. It's there in the text. So Dr. Death, if he was ever real, was certainly a result or an outcome of Nietzsche's philosophy. Nietzsche preached what we would call now genocide. Genocide of the weak, the botched, the infirm, the pessimistic, the negative, and the lowly. He preached the genocide of the imperfect beings with a eugenic edge, suggesting that only the best specimens in physical and mental health should be allowed to live. Ultimately, Nietzsche was riffing on that old wisdom of Silenus, that it is better to die, but best of all, it is better not to be born. Rather than taking this as a general pessimistic view, he applied it to the superfluous ones, the botched, the dyseugenic, those who polluted the bloodstream, those who led us down to the last men. It's hard not to see this as a form of eugenics in Nietzsche, and therefore he is the ancestor of Dr. Death.